Ever felt like something's watching you through the static? Analog horror isn't just creepy VH tapes or glitchy news reports. It's a psychological maze built on lost media, liminal spaces, and a deep, nagging fear that something's just not right. And today we're diving into some of the darkest corners of that maze. From cursed roads in the UK to VHS cartoons that talk back and monsters born from grief. Yeah, it's that deep. Let's go. No through road. The simplicity that haunts you're a teenager. It's Christmas break. You're bored, so what do? Grab your camcorder and drive around aimlessly with your friends filming whatever. That's literally the setup for No Through Road, a British analog horror series from 2009. No weird effects, no CGI, just a car, a road, and a creeping sense of doom. They drive to a place called No Through Road, but when they try to leave, the road loops over and over again. Street signs repeat. Time skips forward. And then a figure starts following them. A faceless one. It's so low budget, it almost feels real. That's the genius. The horror isn't the thing outside the car. It's the fact that no matter how many times they turn around, they can't escape. It's claustrophobia, dread, and fate all trapped in one dark country lane. The Boisvert tapes. Realism meets madness. Then we've got the Boisvert tapes, which feel like watching something you weren't supposed to see. It's all found footage style. Think a mix between Blair Witch and a government investigation. These tapes were leaked from a paranormal research team that went missing. What's on the tapes? A house in the middle of nowhere. Weird lights. A man who keeps saying he's not alone. But here's where it messes with your brain. You never see the monster. Not really. You just hear whispers. You see shadows, static glitches, time warps, and eventually you realize the house itself might be alive. It's paranoia on VHS. It's slow burn. It's cosmic dread. And it plays off your worst fear, that there's no explanation. The Walton Files. Chuck E. Cheese. But possessed. If you've ever thought Five Nights at Freddy's was unsettling, the Walton Files said, "Hold my soldering iron." Created by Martin Walls, this animated analog horror takes place in the 1970s at a family restaurant called Bond's Burgers. Sounds cute, right? Until you find out that one of the co-founders game-ended two children in a drunk driving accident and buried them in the woods. And then he builds animatronics that may or may not be possessed by the souls of the dead. The VHS tapes show interviews, training videos, and corrupted files. You'll see Bond's eyes flicker when no one's there. You'll hear screams hidden in the audio. Animatronics don't just move, they stare. They know things at its core. The Walton Files is about trauma, grief, guilt, and how some things, especially secrets, don't stay buried. The Backrooms, the Liminal King. Let's be honest, if analog horror had a mascot, it'd be the Backrooms. First posted as a cursed image on 4chan in 2019, it spiraled into an entire universe thanks to Kane Pixel's viral YouTube series, "You No Clip Out of Reality," the lore says, and fall into the Backrooms. Endless yellow walls, buzzing fluorescent lights, wet carpet, and something lurking. The fear comes from how familiar it all is. It's like an old office building you sort of remember, but not quite. That's the essence of a liminal space. Places that feel real but wrong, dreamlike, off, and the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. Kane's Backrooms eventually introduces shadow monsters, secret government labs, and a mystery so big it feels like SCP meets Stranger Things. All told through grainy 90s camcorder footage. It's analog horror, yes, but also internet myth-making at its finest. The Winter of '83, cold, dead silence. The Winter of '83 by David Schmidt is analog horror done differently. No jump scares, no monsters in the closet, just cold. It's a fictional documentary covering an unexplained event that took place during a massive snowstorm. Dozens of people go missing. Radios broadcast cryptic tones. Strange lights are seen in the snow. Whole towns go silent. And yet, no one talks about it. The storytelling is subtle. Old news clips, Static-laced interviews, declassified government files. There's a feeling that something bigger happened, and it was covered up. Imagine Fargo, but Lovecraftian. It whispers horror instead of screaming it. And that whisper lingers. Greylock, where grief becomes real. Mount Greylock, Massachusetts, beautiful nature, quiet forests. But in Greylock archives, those forests are hiding something ancient, and it listens. Created by Rob Gavigan, this series uses police files, documentaries, and VHS footage to explore something called thought forms, entities created by extreme emotion. Think of it like grief made flesh. A shady company named Simeodian USA tries to study them. Instead, they unleash them. These thought forms take shape. Some look like people, some like animals, some like nightmares. And once you create one, you can't control it. One researcher, Arnold Rivers, uncovers this and tries to warn the world. But he gets erased, like wiped clean. What makes Greylock so chilling is the idea that the monsters are us, our sadness, our guilt, our memories. And no VHS can rewind that. Gemini Home Entertainment, nature is lying to you. Next up, Gemini Home Entertainment. It starts simple, fake 80s VHS tapes about nature, animals, geography, solar system. Then, things get weird. One tape says a tree can walk, another mentions skinless deer. Then there's something about the iris, a cosmic eye watching Earth, preparing to devour it. And suddenly, all those innocent-looking videos become pieces of an apocalypse puzzle. GH's genius is in the presentation. No overt horror, just VHS tapes with subtle edits. Wrong animal facts, distorted voices, things moving in the background. The message? Nature isn't your friend. It's hiding something, and we're too late to stop it. The Mandela Catalogue, fear of the familiar. Ever look in the mirror and feel like it's not really you looking back? That's the Mandela Catalogue. Created by Alex Kister, it takes the uncanny valley and cranks it to 100. In this world, alternates, inhuman doppelgängers, replace people. They look almost identical, but not quite. Their smiles last too long. Their eyes are dead. They invade homes, trick families, and convince you to unalive yourself. The series uses emergency broadcast messages, church PSAs, and police training tapes to build its world. It feels real because it's boring, like something you'd actually see on late-night TV if something went horribly wrong. And that's the scariest part. Your own face might be the monster. Local 58, the original nightmare broadcast. Before analog horror had a name, Local 58 was already scaring the internet. Created by Chris Straub, it's framed as a hijacked local TV station. Broadcasts cut out mid-show messages warn you not to look at the moon. One episode, a children's cartoon that ends with the line, "We are all alone." Then there's the infamous contingency broadcast, an emergency message from the US government instructing citizens to take their own lives to prevent enemy mind control. What? Local 58 doesn't just tell you you're doomed, it tells you you've already lost. And the static's just there to keep you distracted. The Tangi virus, never trust calm water. That's how it gets you. The Tangi virus starts with something so ordinary, it almost feels harmless. A contaminated river in Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana. But this isn't a disease that kills you outright. It changes you. Created by Paul Catalanato, this series shows how fear can slip through static and leak out of a television screen. The infection doesn't spread through touch or air. It spreads through signal. You see the footage, you're already exposed. It begins as a local broadcast about a minor contamination issue. News anchors smile awkwardly, warning people not to drink from the tap. But the camera glitches, faces freeze. The screen hums like it's breathing. Then people who drank the water start behaving strangely, standing in fields for hours, staring at the sky, whispering words that don't make sense. Scientists can't find bacteria, only a strange pattern inside the tape itself, like the virus rewrote reality. That's what makes the Tangi virus brilliant. It treats technology like a living organism. The tape you watch becomes part of you. It's a horror story about trust. Trusting what you see, what you drink, what you believe. And the creepiest part? The deeper you dig for answers, the more the signal changes. Maybe that's why it feels so real, because it uses something we all depend on. The screen, as the monster hiding in plain sight. Angel Hare. You ever watch an old cartoon and swear it was different when you were a kid? In Angel Hare, that's not bad memory. That's the horror the series follows Jonah, a man who finds a dusty VHS of his favorite childhood show. A sweet, pastel-colored bunny with golden wings teaching life lessons. But when he presses play, the bunny knows him by name. At first, it feels innocent. "Hi, Jonah. It's been a long time," Angel says softly. But soon the cartoon starts mentioning things Jonah never told anyone. His father's temper, his guilt, his fear of being alone. The more he watches, the more the rabbit changes. The background darkens. The lessons twist into sermons about pain and control. Angel Hare isn't a teacher anymore. It's a mirror, feeding on Jonah's trauma like it's dessert. That's what makes this series so unsettling. It mixes comfort and cruelty. The childhood safe zone, Saturday morning cartoons, turns into something personal and invasive. It's the fear of nostalgia turned rotten. Every frame feels handmade, fuzzy, innocent, until Angel smiles too long or whispers, "I forgive you, Jonah." You start realizing the cartoon isn't trying to entertain. It's trying to keep him there. Angel Hare proves that horror doesn't need monsters or blood. It just needs to take something pure and twist it until you can't look at it the same way again. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Everyone talks about zombies, but Night of the Living Dead was never really about the undead. It was about us. George A. Romero's black and white classic didn't invent horror, but it reinvented it. It starts simple. A group of strangers hiding in a farmhouse while corpses rise outside. But the real horror isn't the moaning outside. It's what happens inside the house. People fight, panic, and lose trust faster than the dead can break down the door. When this film came out in 1968, America was already terrified of war, civil rights tension, assassinations, and TV news that showed chaos. Every night Romero used that fear like fuel. The zombies were background noise. The real monsters were the living. Every scream, every argument, every broadcast cutting to static, pure analog dread. And that's exactly why modern analog horror borrows from it. The same grainy news reports, the sense that the world is ending quietly while people keep watching. It showed that horror doesn't need fancy effects or big budgets. It just needs truth. And the truth here is that humans are fragile, selfish, and terrified of losing control. By the time the sun rises, the survivors are gone, and the rescue team shoots the last man standing. No happy ending, just the sound of static. The screen doesn't comfort you, it condemns you, and that's what makes it timeless.